And hey, howdy. Hey, I'm out here in the shop, and I just wanted to talk to a couple of things. And the video is really, I'm going to title it Authority, or Who Has the Authority? And so we get a lot of questions back and forth about, hey, can I do this thing or that thing? And usually it's right after a video that we said, hey, you shouldn't do that. And a lot of times we do things in the trade as well as do-it-yourselfers because it's convenient, right? We don't want to have to do an extra step or buy more wire or whatever. But here's the thing, if you look in Article 90 of the code, the reason for the code as a minimum standard is for the safeguarding of people and property against the hazards that arise from using electricity, and there are many. So even like recently, we had something where we had a metal fence post being energized in the backyard, and one of the little kids touched it. He didn't get hurt, but he got shocked. And that came out of somebody not applying and using the code. There's just so many examples. So here's my point to you. I'm going to say big three. We'll say the big three who have authority I think you should listen to. And then whether or not you choose to listen to them or to follow a course of action on your installation, that's on you. You'll figure that out. You'll make the choice. One's National Electrical Code. The second one is the authority having jurisdiction. When the code says that something that you're using should be listed and approved, listed is one thing. Approved means that the inspector or the municipality has the authority to say, hey, we don't want you to use this material, or you're okay to use it. But that's what it means for something to be approved. So for instance, where we live, I've got two cities that don't allow the use of 14 gauge wire. The code does all day long. But the two cities I'm thinking about do not allow that. One of those cities doesn't allow you to use aluminum feeder wire in residential services. You can use it in commercial. So again, we have the code, and then we have yet a stricter standard from the city about how we apply. And then finally, we need to really look at the manufacturer specs. We had a discussion about using SER cable in certain applications. And so I looked at the code. I think that's Article 338. But I also looked at one of the manufacturers, which is Southwire, and looked at their product description for their UL listing for aluminum SER cable. And it was very interesting. There was things there that I hadn't read before or realized were a thing. So those are the big three. There's more. You've got ADA, you've got IRC, UBC, IBC. There's all kinds of other codes, and depending on whether you're in somewhere like a school or a hospital, a government facility, or a post, you have other standards. But look, for our day-to-day stuff, when we're installing circuits for a sub-panel or for a spa, you're going to have the code, the authority having jurisdiction, the inspector, and you're going to have the manufacturer specs, and all of those are accessible. So if we outline in a video that, hey, you can't do this or you shouldn't, and then you say, hey, can I do this? Usually I'll say, hey, here's the code reference. No. But again, it's up to you. You're going to choose, if you go back to the safeguarding, you're going to figure out what works for you, whether it's in your house or somebody else's property. When you do a certain kind of installation, is that safe? Are you protecting them against the hazards that come from using electricity? And again, over the years, I've seen many, and I'll leave you with this story. I was out in the country. They had a metal carport, and I was troubleshooting it, and I leaned against the structure. It was 4x4 metal tubing, and I was working around it, and it turns out it was energized. Somebody had used Romex to wire to that, wasn't grounded properly, and when the metal had eaten through Romex, wasn't in conduit, it was just run outside on the metal, it had bit into hot, and it energized the whole structure. Again, super, super dangerous. So, love to hear your comments about this. I've seen similar comments throughout all the videos, right? But tell me if you would add something for day-to-day. If somebody was asking questions, you say, hey, I would tell them this. Beyond the NEC, the inspector, and the manufacturer specs. Look forward to hearing it. Click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.